Talking head, talking head. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Philosophy. Let's go, let's go. Is that weird? I don't know. So today's video is a net worth update and fire chat for March 2022. As usual, we're gonna go through my numbers, review the changes from the previous month, and later in the video, stick around because I will be chatting about some life updates and things going on. So if you're excited for this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and let's jump in. By the way, Foo Fighters are my #1 favorite band. R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins. What a horrible loss. Sucks. Making me feel real shit. So to recap, from February 2022, my net worth at the end of last month was $138,422. The equity that I have in the 2 condos that I own in Calgary currently stands at $82,206. This is an increase from February of about $673. And I've mentioned this in previous videos as well. This amount will increase pretty much the same every month because my mortgage payments don't change. The balance of my DCPP, which I hold with TD and is invested in the TD E-Series line, currently sits at a balance of $3,592. This is an increase from the previous month of about $90, and this is just from increases in the market. Next up is my RRSP account, which I also hold with TD. And like my DCPP, I'm not currently putting any money into it. So all of the gains coming this month came from some market gains, which is really nice to see. The total of this account currently sits at $53,879. This is an increase from February of about $1,320. Next up is my TFSA account, which is also held with TD. In this account, I hold one single stock called Cielo Waste Solutions. And if you've been following my channel, I have about $4,700 into this, and the stock has not been doing well for the past at least 6 months. The current balance of this account is about $1,620. This is a decrease from the previous month of about $75. My vehicle is still valued at $5,000. I have been thinking about selling my vehicle in the next 6 to 8 months. The balance of my line of credit is about $5,560. I deduct that amount from my overall net worth because it is money that I owe. And I am planning on paying this back quite quickly once I get back into work. We'll get into that. So that brings our current net worth total for March 2022 to $139,042. This is an increase from the previous month of about $620. So I was really pleased to see my portfolio jump up a little bit with all the things that are going on in the world right now. My investments were taking a bit of a hit, but it's nice to see that they're starting to kind of climb back up. And because I'm not currently working, I'm not putting any money into my portfolio. So any gains from months previous are only coming from the market. So I'm really excited to see that. It kind of gives me a taste of what it might be like in retirement to be almost relying on the market to do quite well if I'm still invested in a lot of stocks and index funds. So let's jump into my life updates. First thing on this list is the New Zealand Working Holiday Visa. It's open. They've opened their borders again and they're starting to go through applications. So I am super excited. If you don't know, I applied for the Working Holiday Visa in New Zealand back in spring 2020, and I've kind of been planning my life around that. Then COVID happened and things just kind of went completely out of whack. So that is pending and hopefully will get approved in the next 6 months. Once that is set in stone, I can finally start planning to actually move there for 1 to 2 years to see the country, work there, and just explore. I'm super excited to go to that part of the world. If any of you guys have done a working holiday visa, I'd really love to hear about your experience below. Leave me a comment. Now moving into some things about the channel specifically, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you may have heard me mention that I was in the process of negotiating something with a brand, and it didn't end up working out. The brand was going to pay me $250 every month to plug their services, and it was for a 1-minute plug in a monthly video. The reason why we didn't end up working things out or coming to an agreement is because they had a few things in their contract that I just really did not agree with. And being a YouTuber that's quite small and really just starting out, I had to do a lot of research in order to figure out what I was actually reading about. So there was a clause in this agreement which basically stated that this company, this brand, would have complete copyright ownership of all of the things that I would be producing, where I would be pretty much advertising for them. That copyright would be theirs forever. So regardless of how long the brand partnership would have went on between the two of us, they would have that right to use my videos for their marketing for all time. And giving them copyright ownership, they weren't going to pay for it. So the $250 a month was only going to be for email signups. So I would have been posting a link in the description of the videos, and you guys would have been signing up for the services or for their newsletter. And then I would be compensated based on how many of you would have signed up. So because they were asking for this copyright ownership without actually paying for it, I refused. I told them they could change that, take it out, or we wouldn't be able to come to an agreement. Another thing that really threw me off is they had a clause in this contract that stated that I wouldn't be able to tell you guys how much money I was making from that specific brand deal. And the entire reason for my channel is to be very transparent with you guys about money and showing you exactly where my income comes from, how I use it, and how I build my wealth. And without being able to discuss the brand deal and to give you guys information on what it consisted of, I thought that it was pointless, and it would have been nice to have some cash flow and have money coming in, but it really went against my values. I don't make money on this channel currently. I would love it if it did eventually make money, but that is not my main goal. I want to be giving you guys really good information about fire and finance and helping you guys along your path, and maybe just getting to know you guys. And that was really the reason why I started a channel. It wasn't to make money. So I felt like this brand wasn't really in line with what I wanted. And it also perpetuates this idea that we can't talk about how much money we make, and it gives all the power to the company. So instead of me disclosing how much I'm making and for what, they wanted me to keep that confidential so that they could reach out to other YouTubers and pay them a completely different rate or amount. And I think that this just really undermines us as creators, because sometimes when you're starting out, you really don't know what to charge for your services and what is a fair market value. And companies like this who don't want you to talk about it and put it in their contract that you're not allowed to, hurts the creator. It hurts the people who are actually on the side of making the advertisements and the content. So I completely was not in line with this, and I'm not going to mention who they are. Next up is I am currently on the job hunt. So if you saw my video in relation to my new and improved fire plan or lean fire plan, I mentioned that I was going back into the working world, going to find a full-time job, potentially part-time job, to go after hitting my original goal of $500,000 before I am 50. This sort of plays into the coast fire thing as well. I think I'm gonna do some kind of a mix of the both of them. I'm mainly looking for a full-time job. I was interviewed by a company at the end of February, and they told me they wanted to make an offer. It's almost April, it's basically April, and I still haven't gotten an offer from them. They've been keeping me up to date, like back and forth and everything, but I still don't have an offer in my hands. So it just kind of leaves a bit of a bad taste in my mouth with the whole corporate working world, in the sense that you're so dependent on their time and they don't really care about your time or what your plans are or whatnot. I've been reading a lot of the anti-work subreddit on Reddit, and it's just given me this like disdain for working. and more motivation, I think, to actually go towards FIRE and reach it sooner rather than later. Don't get me wrong, I want to enjoy my life along the way. The Coast FIRE lifestyle still does appeal to me the most, and looking forward to something like New Zealand, going on a working holiday for a year or two, I think allows me to break up that retirement, like let's call it mini retirements, although I will be working part-time while I'm there, or even full-time, I don't know. But just being able to take those big bucket list trips now and spread it out instead of waiting until retirement, I think will make for a much more fulfilling life. And I hope that the next full-time job that I do end up getting is something that really aligns with my lifestyle, more vacation, more flexibility in terms of working from home or being in the field instead of just sitting behind a desk all day. The final thing on this list is EI, so employment insurance in Canada. I applied for it shortly after leaving my previous role. And I left my previous role because of how incredibly toxic the workspace was, but also because I was planning on going back to school. So I ended up quitting a couple of months before school had started and just decided I didn't want to deal with this anymore. My mental health was really suffering. I was gonna go ahead and quit. I had some savings lined up exactly for that, and I applied for EI shortly after that to see if I would qualify. And I went through, I think, a 3 or 4 month waiting period to hear back from them. They said no, that I did not qualify. And then I decided to go after a reconsideration, which is when you basically appeal it. So I ended up hearing back from them today, and they said that I did not qualify. So that was kind of hard to hear because I have racked up probably around $10,000 in debt. It's not debt in comparison to my net worth, but I did take out a $10,000 line of credit to float some of my living expenses over the past few months. I know a lot of my friends and family that have gone on EI on a lot less. So I had a lot of issues with my previous manager. I complained to HR. I had just talked to him directly. There were a lot of things going up in upper management. And I can tell you that I have been laid off 2 times in the past, and I never applied for EI because I felt like I was almost taking advantage of the system because I did have some cushion, some money in the bank. And now after this process, I can really tell you that the second that I get laid off in the future, I will be immediately applying for EI. I've been paying into that system since I was 14 years old, and I have never once used it. And the time where I actually felt like I really needed it, where I felt like I had to leave that job for my mental health, they decide that that's not good enough. So I'm a little bit bitter, not gonna lie. But what can you do? At least I do have a cushion to fall back on. And that's something I kind of wanted to just wrap this video up and talk about, is that FIRE opens the doors for so many things. If you have a good little nest egg and you've put a lot of money into savings, worked your butt off, and given yourself the opportunity to accumulate fuck you money, which is essentially what it is. It's the ability to go into work when you don't agree with something and they're not going to meet you halfway. You can say like, fuck you, I'm out of here. I got fuck you money, bitch. So bye. And I love that. I love that FIRE has given me that opportunity, because in the past, before really learning about personal finance, I would have felt very stuck, and I would have been financially very stuck in a job, where now I actually have options. I have good credit, so I can get a line of credit. I could take money out of my savings if I wanted to. Not that that is the first option, but there are a lot of doors that FIRE opens, not just potentially giving you an earlier retirement date, but the flexibility to really go after what you want and make sure that what you believe in, your values, your morals are in line with who you're working for. And that is a luxury, that is a privilege, of course. And I realize that being in a position to even think about those things is a massive privilege, but I don't think that we shouldn't take advantage of it. We should take advantage of that privilege and make sure that we're putting ourselves in a position where we can walk away from a job if it's harming us in any way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I do a lot of videos about personal finance, FIRE, financial independence, retire early, and travel lifestyle. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.